All right, Temur Carnage. This was a build-around deck submission for someone asked, can we play 4 Carnage Tyrant and 4 Niv-Mizzet in the same deck? And I don't know if they stopped to ask if we should. We definitely can. This is we can play 4 Carnage Tyrant, 4 Niv-Mizzet in a deck. Should we? I don't know. Let's maybe find out. But this was my attempt to put that together in a shell, and let's go ahead and dive into some matches and see how it feels here. Has science gone too far? Odo the Bobcat, thank you for the 6-month resub. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way for the last half a year. Welcome back. This hand looks very reasonable, not super interactive, but Sarkhan here can hopefully help propel us into some other things. Someone asked about Magic books. I don't really have any good recommendations for Magic books. Magic, especially standard related, changes so much so quickly on average that generally speaking, you're probably better off like visiting sites like Cool Stuff Inc. and Star City Games and Channel Fireball for the regular strategy content rather than buying books that are likely going to have out-of-date information on them by the time they're published. So Sarkhan is a good card just all on his own, even without dragons to be ramping into. He's a card that helps fix what I like to refer to as the wrong half problem in decks like this, where you draw too many lands, or you draw removal spells against a control deck, and he helps kind of filter them into things that might be useful here. So like here, these Lava Coils are probably not good against Wilderness Reclamation. In fact, our main deck's probably pretty bad here. We're gonna have some better tools post sideboard, but game 1 we're probably gonna struggle against a Temur Nexus deck or Temur Reclamation deck. MTG Goldfish is my preferred deck editor site offline. Stream Decker does it too. Stream Decker works okay as well. Yeah, as soon as they start Nexus of Fading, we're probably going to be done here. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and opt first here, because if I find a Niv-Mizzet, I can cast it. Yeah, Niv is very good, so if we can find our way into one of those, we could be okay.
What madness!
Yeah, we do have a lot of great hits in the sideboard for sure. I've definitely chosen to hedge my deck against the control decks or the aggro decks game 1. Yeah, I have Cindervines and a Torcat. Thanks for the 7 months. Welcome back. Humbly contributing to keep the pink hair forever fun with my Bezo bucks. Maybe if we keep it for a really long time, we'll rotate through different neon colors. So Dragon's Horde is not only good with just 4 dragons, because like if it cantrips, that's fine. This is just like an extra ramp spell. Think about this as just like another way to ramp, basically. Let's us get to Carnage Tyrant on turn 5. How long is really long? How long do you want it to be? Like, you know, maybe after we refresh it pink the first time, we could change to a different color. Yikes. Yeah, Cindervines and counterspells are both going to be good in this matchup. We're going to get to trade out these Collision Colossuses and these Shocks and these other, like, really mediocre cards that we have. Mission briefing. Am I dead? 1, 2, 7, so we're gonna have 14, 15. They could 12 me here. Level 99 with the brand new Prime support. Thanks for shipping me your Bezo bucks this month. I appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. How much to dye your hair into the color pie? If we stay above 4K, we can talk about sweet different things to do with it. I haven't updated it yet. The mono blue list needs to be updated is the answer to your question. Is that a stat that I have? I don't know that stat actually, Dauber. It's probably something I could go back and calculate. I do know that primes most months where there's not infinite sub gifts, my prime subs account for like 50 to 60% of my monthly subs. But I don't know that I have readily available like this amount renewal. Well, I mean, if I get another, if they were incredibly unlucky and didn't draw another explosion here, I could kill them next turn. But I want one real bad. I actually preferred it to my, I don't remember what brand toothbrush I had. It was one of the bulkier ones that the front of it spun, and I prefer the side-to-side vibrations that the Quip does. If you're someone that travels on occasion, the Quip is definitely much better for traveling than the bulkier toothbrush is. Oh man, do they not have it yet? It's gotta be like 8%. Well, he's got 300, almost 400 total, and I think there's like 1,200-ish sub-gifts out on the channel right now. They mission briefing it into mission briefing. Yo, dog. You know, I probably should have Colossus last turn while they were tapped out. Correct, Nifty. Yep. I think we're probably dead, but I'm just gonna make him show me. Hey, Jallier, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. Welcome. For shipping your Peso bucks this month. I appreciate that. SCTR rolling it up to a nice even 400. It's easy to remember now. Easy to remember. So we cut the shocks and the lava coils. This probably isn't our RAL matchup, huh? No, cut collision is the last cut. This seems fine. Wizards did remove mana burn. I think this seems fine. I don't think I want to dive down in this matchup. Yeah, some of the timing's messed up, Jallier. How it prints it. You have the sword next to your name there, so it is counting it correctly. It just announced it wrong. They're having some awkwardness in the mover system. It was funny. I was actually just typing a message to SCTR telling him that he gets to pick an emote. So. Yeah, I think this is fine. I'm gonna play Sulfur Falls on 1 here, because this way if I draw Growth Spiral on 2, I can cast Growth Spiral. Wait, there's a Pro Tour on pre-release weekend? Seriously? That can't be right. Mythic Championship, sure. So, let's Sulfur Falls here, and then Dragon's Horde lets me hold Negate up still, which is nice. I just slammed my dragon, right? Feeds me like one of your French girls. My scaly boy. Don't untap and play like Vivian Reed, please. Deal. So they can expansion explosion for 4 here, right? Because they have 2 + 6. They could Nexus of Fate if they have one. Oh, they have a shock as well. Okay, I mean this seems like a win for us, right? Like I got to draw 2 cards off of this, and it got an expansion explosion out of their hand. Well, unfortunately, we've not drawn well this game. Not over yet, but things are not looking fantastic for our hero. Yikes. Sometimes this is where the magic happens, chat. This is where the magic happens. Getting counterspelled back here. Probably dead. Yeah, I just like needed another spell this game. They're out to get me. I can't make the top 8. It would just look bad on them. Clearly the shuffler's been rigged against us. Every time we get above a certain rank, the shuffler's programmed to make us flood out, right? That's how that works. Everybody knows that random means uniformly distributed, chat. Come on now. He thinks random means actual random. Now that you're Mythic, are you open to playing more jank decks? You still prefer submissions to be more competitive? I mean, do you watch this stream? I don't think we've ever required the submissions to be super competitive. Like that was never an asterisk. I mostly just reject decks if they look like they're going to be both bad and uninteresting. If your deck's doing something that looks interesting, I don't care if it's good or not. Gosh, Lava Coil is good in this format. I guess something I should mention for people that are submitting decks, I've been rejecting a lot of $10 submissions right now because if you look at the deck queue, there's currently like 60 some odd standard decks in it, and I am unable to continue doing 12-hour days every day. So until I'm planning to do 9-hour days most days for the time being, but until I get the deck queue back down a little bit, I am not going to be taking as many $10 submissions until I get them a little bit in check. I just don't want people to have to wait super long time to see their decks played. Hey, FNC, thanks for checking out Quip. I appreciate it. I mean, even with 60 decks in the queue, you're not going to be waiting that long, because I do play like 30 plus standard decks a week, right? So like with 60 decks in there, that's about a 2-week push. It's probably about 3 once you count people cutting things in. It's not that deep. So we're taking 8 here. They get to flip Legion's Landing. Will do, Sunshine. Thank you. The other bed. Well, the thing is, like, a lot of things in Standard can be interesting without being, like, super top-tier competitive. Like, and that's one of the things that makes Standard great, is that Standard's a lower power level than formats like Modern, so decks that are bruised that aren't necessarily tier 1 have a lot better of a chance. Man, talk about the Shuffler being out to get us. Draws the card for exact lethal while we don't draw any spells. What a tilt. I have Shivan Fire, Shock, and Cannonades here, so I've got better tools post-board. Collision Colossus isn't very good. Rail's kind of slow. Probably Trim and Opt. This seems okay. What deck would I take to a tournament? So the bulk of our climb through Diamond was done with Temur Climb and Blue-Green Climb. So I would play some iteration of Blue-Green Climb. Yeah, Beacon Bolt's probably worth having. Yeah, I like your suggestion. So, my article this week for Cool Stuff Inc., I'm actually going to be talking about variations of Blue-Green Climb, so if you're interested in my preferred competitive deck right now, that would definitely be it. Now, I think Beacon Bolt's probably worth having in my deck. I'm going to put this into play tap this turn, just so I don't take damage and just shock this. I think I'm actually cycling Carnage Tyrant here because I really want to give myself the best chance to find a Niv for next turn. Yeah, they missed a land and we have turn 4 Niv. This game is over.
Go on, hit me again.
They could go land into Conclave Tribunal next turn, but outside of that, this game should be done. Yeah, Bacon Bolt should be in my deck for sure. I'm just gonna trim another up tier. I'm gonna trim my Carnage Tyrant. He's a little clunky, especially on the draw. Holy Flab, thanks for the $5 tip. I appreciate it. Bump this towards my Tier Remainder Deeper Champion Builder on will do. Thanks for the support. Yeah, that seems fine. I'm gonna take some damage from my mana here, but I get to Shock to kill their turn 1 play, and then I have Incubation Druid as a follow-up. Hopefully I draw a basic or a buddy land here. A land that doesn't deal damage to me. I love all the people who are saying our opponent just conceded too early. Y'all have unrealistic expectations of games that you're in. If you think my opponent conceded that game too early, y'all need to reassess how you evaluate where you're at in games of Magic, like massively. On one land, conceding to turn 4 Niv is like not unreasonable. Have you read my friend Niv-Mizzet? Alright, Sarkhan's gonna draw a card plus gain 4 here, which is like not the worst. Hopefully we can find our way to a Fiery Cannonade ideally. Woof. Got 2 Cannonades in my deck.
The dragon does not lose.
I think I do this and I pass. This lets me block a 4/3 and then take 10 this turn. Just super dead to a what's it called? The Anthem creature, Marshall. Yikes! Yikes! Pack it up, pack it in. Let me begin. Now it's a jump block. Woof. That card's sweet. Formation seems really powerful. Hey, Vams. Well, thank you. Thank you, Vamals, for re-upping the Twitch Prime for the 2nd month in a row. I appreciate that. That turns into real dollary juice for me. So thanks for dropping it off here again. And Just Dwork with the brand new Prime support. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month. I appreciate it. Oh, you're super right. I always forget that impacts activated abilities too. So it didn't really matter. Alright, we get a rematch here. I wonder if I have too many shock lands in this deck. Yeah, Tidetaker's a great Magic card. Towards Jund Whirler, of course, that's CTR. We'll get that up next today. Speaking of Tidetaker, let's see if we can avoid being taught a history lesson again here. History and Anthem creature are the 2 cards we're worried about. Hey, Rain Day Pinball, thanks for the 3-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I think I just Lava Coil the Tidetaker, play Stomping Ground tapped, and then next turn we'll shock in Breeding Pool and play Carnage Tyrant. Maybe be okay. It depends on how aggressive they get here, what else they have to play off. Thank you for the compliment, Jojo. I really appreciate that. And thanks for the quarter of a year. Thanks for keeping me around. Maybe they won't have any plays. I had to go and open my mouth. You think I can fit anything else in my mouth here along with my foot? Back to the history lesson. Sure can fit some knights in there. Is this history card good? What do we think of this history card? if you use code Tempo, that'll get you a discount on your Lucid purchase. That's one of my sponsors that I have through the Tempo Storm team that's scrolling down below. Maybe they won't double history us and we'll have a chance. Be on the play this time too. Have a fast dragon, fast dinosaur. I haven't confirmed that, Gelda. Code Tempo should get you 30% off. If it's not, wait and I will check tomorrow. But I haven't verified what someone said that it was the wrong discount amount. So the code should be 30% off. That was a great draw. We get to Growth Spiral, drop Rootbound Crag, shock through thing now, which is great.
Bolus told me I should do this.
Maybe they just assume that my deck has an Explore package in it. Yeah, maybe they just assumed I'm an Explore deck. That's the only explanation, right? Yeah, that's the idea behind the Jund Whirler deck, is you target it with the instant status to make Death Touch before the trigger resolves and you wrath their board. So I just like Cannonade plus Shock here. I think so. I think I'm ditching this Dragon Horde. I don't really want them to flip the Legion's Landing over. Maybe I just shock this. Alright, so now I'm gonna do this plus shock the Marshal. That's a better one to kill.
You think you're a
yeah, their board is very good against Cannonade at the moment, that's for sure.
Yes. Perfect.
Woof. Sarkhan flooded. At least when you're Sarkhan flooded, he like cycles through himself. Our deck might not be very good against white aggro. Might be aggressively mediocre against white aggro. Hey, what's going on, Full On Tilt? I appreciate the 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. We made Mythic during a short stream yesterday, actually.
I know what I'm doing.
Alright, gates. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, I think this deck's probably fine against like the mid-range decks in the format. It's probably not that terrible against mono blue either.
Madness. What madness?
I'm just supposed to adapt this turn. That's possible too, rather than playing the growth spiral out. Yeah, we've been solidly Sarkhan flooded in these games. It's like Niv's just been like nowhere to be found.
Told me I should do this.
I agree. Lots of people like to watch like half a game and like write a deck off or validate a deck based on a very small amount of anecdotal evidence. Yeah, we've not been very good at finding our threats. I definitely agree with that assessment. Like even this game, right? Like we're 18 cards into the deck and haven't found a Niv-Mizzet or a Carnage Tyrant. What was it? Someone said a quote yesterday that's definitely what I'm going to be repeating in the future. The plural of anecdote is not data. Like that's such an elegant way to summarize what people often do. Hey, Sesamato, thanks for checking out the Quip sponsor. I appreciate that. Hope you like your brush. Alright, well they have infinite cards in their hand at this point.
I don't need this. I need this.
I'm a data analyst, God bless. Oh, they're playing Nexus of Gates. Okay, so we're probably dead. I assume we're about to get comboed. Yeah, I think we needed a threat by like, you know, turn 4 or 5, not turn 12. Quality of life concession. You remember when Carnage Tyrant was a big boy? Now he's just so little. Okay, this almost hurts to ask. Is Carnage Tyrant just worse than playing Krasis in this deck? Is that the case? Is Carnage Tyrant worse than just playing 4 Krasis in this deck? I think it might be, right? Yeah, let's... I think we're going to have time to play 1 or 2 more matches after this. The original build-around was Carnage Tyrant plus Niv-Mizzet, but when it was submitted, it was like the very beginning of the format, and it's just been, like, the format's warped to a point where Carnage Tyrant just, like, isn't great anymore. Krasis also turns on Niv damage, yep. Agree. I actually don't think Carnage Tyrant is very good against Sultai on average. I think Carnage Tyrant often tends to leave a lot to be desired in that matchup, just because Carnage Tyrant is a card that is often outclassed by the other things that are bigger. Well, that was a phenomenal draw. This is exactly how we drew it up, right? Look at that. We have threats, chat. We have threats.
I will call the dragons.
This is what we wanted to do, chat. Turn 4, turn 5 Niv.
I don't need this. I need this.
Oh, yeah, alright. We're done here, right? We're just like, just completely done. Untap with Niv when the game math checks out, right? I think we're gonna put another Cannonade in the board for the White Weenie matchup too. Listen, your wallet should be happy that Niv isn't mythic, okay? Don't complain about that. I think I have to mulligan this. It's like missing green mana and it needs other good spells. This hand only needs green mana. Come on. Come on. Come on, dealer. Let's go. We've been flooded so much today. Just give me a green source on 2. Come on. Untapped green. Untapped green. At least it's better than missing, I guess. At least it's better than missing. This is where the magic happens, chat. It's 25 lands, 4 ops later. Welcome to Magic.
It's madness. What madness?
I believe Limited prefers your... current gauntlet record as opposed to your ranking overall. Alright, so I have 4, 5, 6. So I could do this.
Look to the skies.
Make red, red. So if I could do this. And I can play Niv-Mizzet this turn. Yeah. Rail doesn't do anything here. In fact, I'm gonna cut Rails when we change the build to have Krasis in it. Wait, did they just Cindervines my Cindervines? It's like Cindervineception, chat.
Might demands power.
Well, it was the right play last turn. Let's do it again. They're down to 1 card, so like. My hand's pretty mediocre, so I think I block here. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
Okay. Well. I think I just pass here. I think I just want to dig deep for counter spells here. Like I've got Sarkhan set up. Alright, sure.
The weight is killing me. Let's see what we got.
Come to me.
We get on the scoreboard, chat? I think we're gonna get on the scoreboard. I'm gonna tap her for the blue mana, just in case they have another thing and she dies, so I can keep holding up the Disdainful Stroke. Yeah, darling dearest, that'd be a fine addition. And you can feel free to submit that without submitting the forum. This was good sequencing on my opponent's part here. They changed things, so like if this op finds the negate, I can't cast it now.
Decisions.
Magnificent!
Decisions, right? I'd like to think that he was saying decisions sarcastically, chat. Maybe he was being facetious. Alright, so Niv's Carnage. I think I'm probably just supposed to do this. I think that's probably the play to win line is probably just playing a bunch of copies of that. This seems like a pretty trim main deck. I think I want some Cannonades in the main, just like White Weenie's been everywhere and it's been really tough to beat. So, this deck does not want to play Incubation. I would much rather play traditional cantrips. Your probability of doing nothing, like paying 1 mana to put the top 5 cards of your deck on the bottom with 8 creatures is absurdly high. It's absurdly high. In fact, you need 25 plus creatures to not be missing like 1 in 10 times with Incubation. You're going to miss probably 50% or more if you try and put Incubation in your deck with only 8 creatures in it. Yeah, I just want 4 Cannonade. The White Weenie matchup felt really hard. Was it only 14? It might only be 14. No, I added a 15. What did I do? I added a 15. You're good. I added it last second. Making me doubt myself. I added another Cannonade. Yeah, we're so good at magic. We're so good, chat. We're so good. They quake in fear at our skill, chat. They quake in fear. Truly the skilled magicians that we are. Magic is occurring. Stay and enjoy, chat. Enjoy. The only way we could get this game more magical is if there were jazz hands involved. We get a little bit of extra magic in there for you. I aim to please.
Let us fight. Bolus told me I should do this.
And playing, like, situational cards like Fiery Cannonade in our main deck is, like, super reasonable in a deck with 4 Sarkhan in it. Just because, like, Sarkhan just, like, lets you do things like this.
They are coming.
They are coming! No, Sarkhan, it's not that kind of TV show. Come on now. There are children watching. I think they have Blink of an Eye game 1. They should have Blink of an Eye in their main deck. What madness? Wow, way to depose my Niv. What did he ever do to you? The funny part is, King Fede, is like swearing and strong language and innuendos like that are 0% part of the reason why Wizards of the Coast wouldn't work with anybody. It was explicitly cited for my feedback. Can't give that nasty negative feedback. Yep.
Sorry I'm late. Hurry!
Did you make sure to sign in using your Twitch name, Ray Day? They didn't see the notification come through for that one. Yeah, this is fine. Carrick, I'm not sure what that is. They must be trying to combo this turn, right? If they didn't tuck Niv, like they're gonna try and combo through the Niv, basically. We're gonna kill Teferi.
Time for plan B.
We do get to start some tournaments. I'm gonna figure out those details by this weekend, I think. Amateur shill.
Hold that thought.
Yeah, I've actually made videos with Tolarian before. We were just talking that we should get together and like do something again. Are we not going to get another turn? I'm not sure. Am I just gonna get comboed through this Niv? It's actually my turn, right? Yeah, they mulled before this game. Hey, what's going on, Amari? Thanks for your service. Glad you're back safe. Can I draw that many cards? I think so.
Don't doubt my methods.
Looking to draw an opt, right? No, I don't just Graces for 6. I'm gonna Lava Coil one of my things. Why would I Graces for 6? Graces for 6 only lets me draw 3 cards, chat, which doesn't kill them this turn. I think we're one short, right? Gosh, we're so close. And like the problem is they get to tuck Niv next turn, right? Yeah, that one ping on Teferi cost me the game. That one ping on Teferi cost me the game. Alright, so full control mode, collision, or Colossus. Colossus, my Niv, we gotta hit a shock or a shock or an opt here. Oh, I love that this is a no justice stream. I love that this is a no justice stream. What excellent television. What excellent television, chat. Ip cheerio, mate. Lava Coil all of our stuff. Literally all of it. Get it out of here. That was a good turn. It's a good save after I tried to lose. Tried my best to lose. Deck had my back. God bless you, deck. Boop, boop. I'd be tilted too. For people wondering why I didn't just attack, they had cast Root Snare, so my attack wasn't dealing damage. Is Carnage Tyrant better than Shock? I think it is. Shock does finish off... Shock does finish off, what's it called, though? Shock does finish off, Teferi. Something to think about. Teferi comes down and tucks something, and then Shock finishes it. This seems fine. Yeah, we hit Mythic during a short stream yesterday. Ooh, so I think I actually play Opt on one, because if I find a red or green land here, I can. Nah, I probably should have just set up to Cindervines on two. Hey, what's going on, Loam? Almost to that real sword indeed. Let's just do that. It's gonna be turn 4 Niv. This is turn 2. Yeah, we're getting set up for turn 4 Niv here. Remember that time I put Rootbound Crag into play, assuming that it was going to be untapped? Pepperidge Farmer members. We're supposed to hold Negate here. It's possible I'm supposed to hold Negate here. Is there a Teferi turn? Deputy of Detention. Okay. I mean, like, that getting Cindervines getting tagged by that rather than my Dragon Boy here seems great for me. Did we whip this into something playable, maybe? It at least seems good against these Nexus stacks. Having Cindervines plus Counterspell seems real good here. Seems great. Yeah, Sarkhan's been very good. I agree. I think I'm gonna hold off on the Opt to start. No, that's not true. I'm gonna dig for another resource so I can go. Actually, I guess I go Incubation on 2. Maybe I didn't want to Opt on 1. Hopefully, whatever land they play on 1 gives us some inclination of what they're doing. I think I'm in for that, even if we like flood a little bit. And I think because they shocked in Stomping Ground on 1 here, I'm actually not going to play Incubation Druid on 2 because this implies that they have shock up. So I'd rather Growth Spiral to ramp rather than play something here that just dies to a shock. Yeah, could be Jund Whirler. Could be mono red splashing Cindervines, that's true too. I think either way, this Collision Colossus is probably kind of bad.
Yes.
Alright, my Planeswalker gained 4, got plus. Another one of these.
Don't stop now.
Oh, I get another turn with Sarkhan. That's good for me. Looking like Jund Whirler.
I know what I'm doing.
That's an interesting draw. So, do I just Cannonade plus Incubation Druid here? I think that's the line. I definitely don't want to, like, play 2 Incubation Druids out, like, have this in my hand, right? And I kind of want to be conservative with my health total.
Dragon would rather die than lose.
Is my Druid dead, or do I get to untap and flip this? It's dead, sure. Hydroid Krasis would be a good draw, just like X is 4 here. We are short on... It is worth noting I can't currently cast Niv-Mizzet. Although that land drop changes that. Looking for one of our bombs at this point. We'll light up the stage here. I'm gonna hold on to this land in case I draw another Sarkhan. Gives us something to discard. In a pretty bad spot though. Am I dead yet? Yep, yep, yep. Yep, yep, yep. How good is MTG as an educational tool for kids? Do you think products of that nature is an untapped avenue? You mean like educational as in teaching people magic, or educational as in like teaching kids things that they would otherwise learn in school? I wonder if Negate's good enough for this matchup. It might be better than a couple of Opt. I'm gonna split the difference here and see how this feels. You looked like mono red splashing for green sideboard cards for sure. It's going pretty well, Risky Bug. Been bouncing up and down all around. We're currently Mythic 632, which means we're currently at about where we started for the day. How do you think about when to keep cards in/out like Opt? I think in the longer matchups, Opt tends to like almost always want to stay in. But in matches like this where my opponent is generally trying to get underneath me before I can spend all my mana, I'm not always going to have time to fumble around with casting a bunch of Ops. So like the average game against mono red, if I draw 2 or 3 Ops, I'm probably dying just because I can't be resource efficient in terms of impacting the board. So like, while I don't mind seeing 1 Opt in one of these games, drawing 2 is probably not something I'm interested in doing. The Gates deck gets to both run people over on occasion with large creatures and yoink their things out from underneath them. So it really covers the whole range of human emotion. This is probably going to be a Krasis for 2 game. And keeping a hand with the shock into bombs is probably fine, especially when I have all my colors of mana. Like, obviously we'd like to draw like a 2 or 3 mana spell in the middle here to like bridge the gap, but I definitely don't think this is a mulligan by any stretch of the imagination. Blast that one. Yep. Okay, so since I haven't drawn any spells this game, I think I just cycle this for X's 2 to gain a life, draw a card, and honestly gain 3 life next turn when I throw it in front of this Goblin Chain Whirler. So. Good identify on their part that they wanted to shock my thing, because I was pretty likely to chump block with it, so might as well like use their shock to deal 3 effectively. Them sending off burn spells on my cheaper creatures here means that once Niv-Mizzet comes into play, it's more likely to be able to block Chain Whirler profitably. Alright, they drew more than 3 lands this game, so that's a good start for us. Kindling Phoenix, that's scary. I'm gonna block Goblin Chain Whirler here, trying to take it off the table. If they have a Lightning Strike or a Shock, obviously I get into a little bit of trouble, but like, I have a follow-up Niv for next turn too, which is nice. Worth noting here that if this had been an opt, I'd be able to play Niv and play this next turn, so... Alright, if we can fade a lethal card next turn, we could potentially be okay here. So I blocked the Phoenix because drawing a card for my turn will kill the egg. Okay. That was the best draw in our deck, one of the best draws in our deck. We might actually stabilize this game on the back of the negate that we boarded in here. Oh, don't mind me. I think at this point, I don't play around creatures. I just need to attack. Like, if they draw, like, a haste creature, I feel really bad, but I need to just close the game out before they draw a Chain Whirler, or a Banisho Pyromancer, or a creature that kills me. Well, that was an incredibly good draw. So, I want to leave 2 up here, so this Krasis is going to be for 5, 6, 7, 8 Krasis for 6 here. Hey, darling dearest with the $10 tip. Thank you very much for the support. I appreciate it. I want to see Hydroid Krasis activation. Flew big with the Start Steamer Climb will do. Alright, that should be the lockup at this point. You played Modern Pod yet? We've not, Risky Bug. I actually had someone just chip in to bump the build that's in the queue. So we'll get to that at some point. My body. I am ready to be let down by Modern Pod. Krasis, really good Magic card. News at 11. It's going to be our last game / match with this Temur deck, and then we're going to move on to Jund Whirler and Abzan tokens before we wrap things up today. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Hope everyone's having a great Monday wherever you're at in the world and had a good weekend. After I sign off today, my buddy Matt's going to be streaming most afternoon into the evenings now, so I'm going to be giving him a host. He's going to be doing some standard constructed on Arena, so if you want some more best of 3 after I'm done live on Twitch, he'll be doing that most days. Yeah, Jund Whirler got bumped up. How does Vanafear Pod kill on turn 3? You can't cast Vanafear before turn 3, right? It doesn't have haste on turn 3. Oh, I guess if you Rhythm on 2. Yeah, you can Rhythm on 2. Hall of the Bandit Warlord. Lol. I think this hand's a mulligan. All 3 of our lands deal damage to us. I don't have any removal in it. I have a couple of clunky expensive ones. I'm going to go ahead and mulligan this. I think this hand's actually better than the one we just mulliganed, so good mulligan. Yeah, our mana base certainly doesn't do us any favor in the aggressive matchup. I'm going to go ahead and use Shivan Fire here, even though it's an instant. because I don't want them to be able to cast a bunch of red spells in response, and I want to hold on to the Lava Coil in case they play a Goblin Chain Whirler, because that's a 3/3. Hey, Slaga, thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Just been here. Bezo bucks back this way again. Lands, please. Lands, please. I think it's important to just take this off the table here. I wonder if I'm supposed to double shock that, since they showed us they're playing Rekindling Phoenix. They go Mountain Rekindling Phoenix here. I'm kind of in trouble. I'm gonna play Sarkhan and Cyclist Growth Spiral, I think. Sarkhan needs me some amount of life from them attacking him. I think that's a win. Cannonade looking a little awkward here. Hey, what's going on, Jake of the Cosmos? Thanks for the 3rd of the year and welcome back. Hope your life is going swell.
I don't need this. I need this.
Yeah, I agree. Cannonade is not amazing, but it's kind of like the best we can do here. Minimum amount of multicolor cards for your hero deck. Probably in the 20 range. Yeah, they definitely boarded into a slightly bigger red deck. I'm going to double shock this Goblin Chain Whirler for sure when it attacks. I'm going to hold on to the backup Sarkhan for now. Just in case I like Ripple Lightning Strike or something to kill this. Drawing Lava Coil is good insulation because one of their better cards at this point in the game is Rekindling Phoenix, and that covers that. Perfect. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and discard this Sarkhan just because I do want to start making land drops. That way if I draw a Hydroid Krasis, I can Krasis for 4. I am going to need to find a threat sometime soon, though, here, because my opponent is flipping this treasure map over, which means that they're going to start generating some actual card advantage. Yep.
Strike like you mean it. Are you ready?
Alright. Might be okay here. Wow, that's good. Okay, that's also good for us. That explains what they've been holding on to. So, Niv drew 2 cards. Sarkhan's gonna live for another turn. At least, most likely. And next turn I get to play Krasis for X is 5. So I think that's a win for me. I feel like we might have gotten this to a somewhat acceptable final spot. They put a card on top. That doesn't bode well for my Krasis. That being said, I am at 8 lands next turn, which means I can play and crack Incubation Druid at the same time. They have a Lava Coil here. Sure. So they can put Sarkhan to 1 here, but he's still in play. And even if I brick on my draw plus my Sarkhan cycle next turn, I get to go ahead and like make a 3/5. Which is like pretty reasonable.
I don't need this. I need this.
Sure. Oh, you know what? I already had 8 lands. Maybe I'm supposed to... Maybe I'm supposed to wait a hot second on that. Or see if they can draw a way to kill this at instant speed. And, like, we're still at 17 here. And, like, we've only drawn 1 Krasis and 1 Niv, right? So, like, there's 3 Nivs and 3 Krasis in 34 cards right now. Finish this off here. Would love to draw a Krasis with this Incubation Druid. Gosh, how many mana do I have? I have 12 mana if I draw a Krasis.
Madness. What madness?
Is it 12? 5, 8, it's 11. I counted wrong. Still, probably good enough. Can we just, like, talk about how much better this card here is than Carnage Tyrant would have been? This was Carnage Tyrant before, and it's just way better as this. This is a really sweet Temur deck. Just like Temur control, basically. This was great. I really like where we ended up at. There's so many sweet things to be doing in this format. It's like weird what happens when you put all the good cards in your deck. I'm a big fan of blue-green Climb right now is my preferred archetype. We played a bunch with Temur and straight blue-green over the weekend, and I'll be having an article going up on that archetype on coolstuffinc.com on whatever day that is, Wednesday my articles go up.
They are coming.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I should have played Niv first and then used him to draw and discard. Oh gosh, we're so done here. Your opinion at all on the new modern format starts? I hope the new format starts with this current set that we're in. I think it's really sweet. Alright, so to wrap up here, we started with a build around that was around Niv-Mizzet and Carnage Tyrant, and after playing some games, it just really felt like Carnage Tyrant just really gets outclassed in this format, so we ended up repositioning ourselves into being a Niv-Mizzet Hydroid Krasis deck. We do still have a couple of Carnage Tyrants here in the sideboard, but I really like where we ended up at. I feel like we had a lot of play in a lot of different directions. We have pretty flexible answers, and one of the things that this deck does well, we have played Pirates in the new format. You can find that on my website, my YouTube channel, Jensen. One of the things that this deck does well is that when our blue and our green cards aren't good enough at killing or answering what the opponent's doing, both Niv-Mizzet and Hydroid Krasis allow us to turn the corner and kill our opponent very quickly. So basically, we're a control deck when our control elements are good, and when the control elements aren't good, you just like get to attack them. And this deck, and one of the things that's kind of rare for a control deck is this deck has a nut straw in where you just like play Sarkhan turn 3 on the play and like have turn 4 Niv-Mizzet, and your opponent's just like staring at your Niv-Mizzet like, there's a turn 4 Niv-Mizzet. So if they don't have the answer to that, you like win the game very quickly, which is those free win style draws aren't something that control decks often have that this deck's able to generate, which is sweet. Am I going to post this version on my website? Yeah, probably actually. I think this deck's pretty unique and it felt pretty powerful. I think that's a good suggestion. Temur control. I don't know when exactly I'm going to get to that. Probably not till this weekend. We'll see. Definitely not till later this week. I have an article deadline tonight. What are we doing next? 1 month until the sword. Red Mulligan, thanks for 11 months. One of the biggest issues for Grixis last season was Carnage Tyrant. So now the problem with Grixis is that you just get buried in card advantage by Hydroid Krasis, and you still don't have a real sweeper, which is a big deal. We did in fact destroy the sub goal. Well, SCTR destroyed the sub goal along with some other sub gifters, Nivik and friends. All right, what are we doing? Jund Whirler next. Jund Whirler is next. 2 more decks before we're done for the day.